Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing good because Rainbow Six Siege just dropped something pretty huge with the Y10S4 Tenfold Pursuit update, patch 3.16's 1.0 onto 1, and there is a ton to unpack if you actually care about how the game feels moment to moment and not just what's on the key art. This isn't one of those tiny mid-season tweaks. This one actually shifts how you attack walls, how you defend them, how ranked feels, and even how much space the game takes on your drive. So let's walk through it like you booted up ranked, and I'm that teammate explaining everything in voice before the round starts. First off, let's talk about the headline. Thatcher got a massive glow up. This isn't just a numbers tweak. This is basically a mini rework. He's got a broader weapon lineup now, which already makes him feel fresher if you were bored of the same old gun. But the real star of the show is his new gadget, the EGS Disruptor, the Electronic Gear Scanner Disruptor. Instead of just lobbing EMPs and hoping you hit something important behind a wall, he can actually scan for electronic gadgets through obstacles and then send out that disabling blast. So in practice, you're droning, you're prepping, and Thatcher can actively confirm, yeah, there's a bandit battery there, there's a mute jammer under that wall, there's a Kide claw somewhere on this panel before your hard breacher even touches their gadget. It shifts him from being just a utility nuke into more of an intel plus disruption hybrid. And because his loadout now gives you different primary options, you can pick the style you like. A more classic AR feel if you want something familiar, or that marksman style rifle if you like holding longer angles and playing a bit more deliberate. That change alone would already have a big impact, but it's paired with a suite of tweaks to the whole Breach ecosystem. Thermite, Hibana, Maverick, Ace, they all get love in different ways. Thermite becomes more consistent as your traditional, dependable wall opener, with some extra flexibility baked into his kit. Hibana's pellets feel more reliable and forgiving, so when you're trying to make specific sized holes for lines of sight or rotates, it doesn't feel as scuffed. Ace gets toned slightly toward a slower playstyle by leaning him into more methodical pushes rather than hyper-aggressive entry with tons of utility. And Maverick remains that high-skill ceiling pick, but with quality of life changes that make him feel less punishing if your aim or timing isn't absolutely perfect. All of that, stacked on top of a stronger, more informative Thatcher, pushes the meta away from stack every possible anti-breach tool on defense and hope you frustrate attackers into giving up, and more towards structured, information-led attacks. Defenders can't just assume that jammers and claws and batteries are this impenetrable blanket anymore. Speaking of pesky electronics, the whole DSG system, the deactivation segment logic, gets standardized as well. In simple terms, if a gadget is inside a deactivation field, it can't be activated wirelessly, and if an operator is inside that field, they can't trigger devices by remote signal either. Both the operator and the device need to be outside that zone for things to behave normally. That might sound like a small backend rule set, but it massively cleans up weird edge cases, like why did this activate but that didn't? You're going to feel this around mute, Aruni, and the way certain gadgets interact with jammers and EMP effects, because now the behavior is more intuitive and consistent instead of random feeling. On the defender side, there are some really spicy combos evolving, especially with Kide and Castle. Cade's claws can now electrify Castle barricades, which opens up new trollish but effective setups. You can turn a castle panel into this seriously dangerous obstacle that not only blocks vision and slows pushes, but also zaps any attacker who carelessly smacks it. Suddenly, those just punch it instincts are punished, and attackers have to think about utility layering more carefully. Do we want to waste explosives, burn utility, or reroute entirely? Combined with the new DSEG logic and Thatcher's scanning, these little interactions become mini mind games every round. The macro game gets shaken up by the map side as well. Fortress has been reworked and promoted straight into the serious end of the pool, landing in ranked and competitive presets. The old Fortress had that reputation of being a bit of a labyrinth, with awkward rotations and some bomb sites that just felt off. The reworked version trims down the maze vibe, cleans up routes, and gives attackers more structured ways to enter and take space, without it feeling like a never-ending hallway nightmare. The courtyard being treated as an exterior zone now also changes sightlines, and how rappels and peaks work around it. If you play ranked or scrim at all, expect Fortress to be something you need to learn properly, not just a throwaway map. On top of that, Skyscraper and Theme Park get modernized visuals, better lighting, higher res textures, and more consistent destructible surfaces. That kind of polish isn't flashy in patch notes, but in-game it makes reading micro angles and spotting enemies a lot clearer, which is huge for a game this lethal. Performance and practicality got some love too. The update optimizes the game's files, so the download might be chunky, but your install size actually goes down by a noticeable margin afterward. That's especially nice on consoles or smaller SSDs where Siege was starting to look pretty hefty. And while all this is happening, the Shield Guard anti-cheat layer is quietly becoming more aggressive behind the scenes, especially against recoil scripts and macros,